Hi guys, it's Blackie and welcome back to the channel. Okay, today in the Mastering the Skillet series, we're going to do a super brainless simple thing, okay? But this skill adds a lot to our cooking ability. Now, what we're carrying today is a skillet and a simple stove. I put some water in, I'm going to bring it on to boil because what we're going to do is a rice thing. I like to carry in the chuck box rice, instant mashed potatoes, and some sort of pasta noodle or something because they are force multipliers. I can add or subtract to it to make different meals, radically different. So this, what we're going to do today, is what I would be doing if I was going to be going squirrel hunting on a camp where we've set up and now I've gone out to try to get squirrel. Because when I get back to camp, how am I going to prepare that? Well, I would, if it's a squirrel, I'm going to parboil it for a little bit in water. And that skillet is deep enough, as you can see, to hold water and actually come to a good hard rolling boil. Then after I had boiled it, I would take the meat out, get rid of the water, and I would fry it just a little bit to give it a little bit better flavor. Add some butter or whatever if I had. Now, as a side to that, especially if I need to boil this quite a bit. This is an older squirrel. Okay, I could boil that meat till it became tender. And I could set it to the side and start picking it off the bone. And then I would add rice and gravy. Now, gravy, right after Christmas, January or so, that's when you want to pick up cans of gravy because it's dirt cheap because they come in for the holidays and they don't get sold. And so there's things of turkey gravy, chicken gravy, pork gravy, beef gravy everywhere. And this is a force multiplier because gravy is just a flour roux with a little bit of water and flavoring, right? To make it say it's turkey or pork or beef. If I add a lot of water to it, what does it become? A soup stock that I can then add vegetables and stuff in and make a stew or a soup, depending on how much water it is. Or I can use it thick. So if I was going to be doing wild game like rabbit, squirrel, coon, or whatever, I've got rice and gravy to combine. This is it sitting up here now getting hot. In a minute or two it'll start boiling. Once it's boiling, I'm going to add the rice. Now, yes, you can get the boiling bag rice and stuff like that, but what I've started here doing lately is these cups. Okay? How these are made in the process is they actually cook it inside the cup when they're making it. They put the rice into it, they seal it up with X amount of moisture, and it comes down assembly line, and then through microwave or whatever, they actually cook it inside the cup to a certain degree of doneness, with the idea that you're going to take this and put it into a microwave and finish cooking it, eating it. I don't like the taste of that because it's rather stale to me. It has a stale taste, so I don't eat these for lunch. But I found if I'll put them into boiling water and boil them for 4 or 5 minutes, they will be a lot better. And so that's what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to get that water good and hot. And how do I know they cook it in there? When you peel the lid up and you'll feel it's got a content, like a flavoring to it. And the rice is it's still hard, you know. They just softened it enough to claim it's 90% cooked, but it's not really. So I'm going to take that water right there, get out my spoon right quick out of my kit. There we go. I'm going to add the rice into that hot water and rehydrate that rice more fully. Let it absorb that water, cook a little bit more, become soft. Now, as I said, this is just simply a add-on meal, okay? I've come out and we're going to do small game hunting. And I've got rice and gravy. And I do get squirrel, or I do get a rabbit, or something. And I cook and process it. Now I can simply submerge it in gravy and rice, and so I've got squirrel, gravy, and rice. Pretty good. Rabbit, possum, coon, whatever, gravy and rice. Pretty good, right? If I don't get any game, I still got gravy and rice, which is edible by itself. Suppose I've got a bigger stock pot, a bigger bush pot, and I want to make a stew out of this coon that I got. It's a smaller coon or something, and there ain't enough meat there or whatever, and for whatever reason, or I've made a meal out of it, and now it's the other piece of meat that I didn't eat last time. It's been cold overnight, and I've been able to store it, and I've got squirrel, or I've got whatever that's cold. It's not bad, but I want to reheat it and incorporate it into something. Do it in gravy. Add flavor, see? And like I said, these things are like cheap. I picked up cans, and they were 39 cents a can at the discount place because they didn't sell during Christmas. And it's got a 4-year shelf life on this thing. So yeah, it'll go in the chuck pot. Okay, as you can see, let me get you up there a little bit closer now. Stop talking and start showing cooking. Okay, you can see I've got it simmering in that hot water. That stove is doing just fine, just like that. Not too hot, not too fast. I get rid of all the lumps, and I let that rice fully rehydrate for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Let it sit in that hot water. It don't have to be truly boiling, but hot water like you're seeing right now works just fine. Now once that is complete, I'll pour off that excess water, and I'll replace it with the can of gravy. They'll add the flavor. Now, do I have to use the entire can? No. I could put like half the can of the gravy into it and make that. This has become a side dish to go with whatever. I've got a steak to grill. I've got this for a side dish. I've got wild game. I've got whatever. This becomes a side dish or a standalone. That other half can be used in the next meal. I can simply put the gravy, pour it out of the can into a Ziploc bag. As long as this temperature is cool enough, it's going to be in the below 40 today type deal. Below, like 45 today is daytime high. I can put it in there and keep it till tomorrow, just like you'd put in the refrigerator. And therefore I can use it for tomorrow's meal. Add it into something else. So I get 2 runs out of one 39-cent can. It doesn't always have to be fancy cooking. It just has to be tasty, filling, and do the job well. Now with this little stove down here, I could be sitting up under a tarp on a rainy day doing this very thing, couldn't I? Where I didn't get to go squirrel hunting, coon hunting, or waterfowl, weather moved in. I can easily pull out of the larder a thing of rice and a thing of gravy and have something decent to eat quickly. Okay, give it about another 5 minutes and I'll be back with you, and we will put in the gravy. Okay, now I've sampled it. My rice is nice and tender. Now I'm going to get rid of this excess water. I'll do that off camera right quick. Okay, now I've got my excess out of there. I'm going to add in that gravy. Put it back on the heat. This won't take but just a minute. Now, depending on how much heat you got going, you want to make sure you don't burn the gravy. So stir it. Now the advantage to this cast iron, excuse me, it is not cast iron, it is the carbon steel skillet that has been case hardened. There it is. Had a gray moment there for a minute. It's deep enough to use not only as a skillet, which it is, but it's also deep enough to do stews, sauces, wet dishes like this, where it's as much liquid as it is anything else, see? Now by adding that in, I've got kind of like a thick rice soup to eat. Now if I had meat, like coon, squirrel, or whatever, or some other, I can mix into this. What if I got leftover meat from last night's meal? It was good, but you know, it's a couple of pork chops or whatever left over from last night's cooking that I put in the cooler. This I can make and smother it in gravy and change it. Tear up that pork chop in small giblets and then put into here. Add a little bit of whatever. You can even put hot dogs in this thing. It does not have to be complicated to make it. And it is a good filling meal. Now, nice and hot and ready to go. Rice and gravy. This can be a side dish. This can be the basis of now watering this down and adding other vegetables and stuff and making a soup or a stew out of it. It can also be a building block where I want to take leftover meats that I've done and immerse it in it to change the flavor, change up the meal a little bit, and heat it up. All of it very simple to do by carrying pre-made up, cheap. You get, I think, 2 or 4 of those packages of rice for just a couple of bucks. And a can of gravy you pick up whenever they're cheap for like under $1 definitely, and usually it's like 50 cents, 75 cents whenever they're after the holidays thinning them out. And you've got a good side dish. So, it's something super simple. Now, is this a big fancy cooking meal? No. And I know many of you out there going, oh Blakey, that's cheap and that's not really cooking it. You're right. But the thing about that is many people today don't cook. Their idea of cooking is pulling the thing out of the refrigerator and putting it in the microwave and punching the buttons. I mean, that's about it. They don't cook anymore. And so part of this series is I'm going to address that with you. For those of you that don't really know how to cook, Blakey, I'm just trying to learn how to do something. Rice and gravy is one of the most simple things you can do. Now, different kinds of gravy will taste different. How about rice and pasta? Or rice and some other kind of noodle? You make instant mashed potatoes the same way. Just bring the water to boil, add in a pre-measured amount, stir it up till it's the right consistency, and then you can throw meat into that. So meat and potatoes. Spam, that's camp taters. All that is you will take the Spam and brown it in the pan first, and then you'll take it out and cut it up into cubes, and you'll put water back in the pan, bring it to a boil, and then add in mashed potatoes and stir it up until it becomes correct, and then you add the meat back in, and that's called camp taters. That's meat and potatoes mixed. Super simple. Doesn't require you go to Juilliard cooking school. And so for those of you that are getting into the backpacking, getting into the camping, and wanting to learn how to cook, it is not that difficult, especially if you understand that it can be done with such simple things by simply combining. And this is one of those combining recipes, because although it is very simple, that right there will fill you up and tastes good. On a cold day, this would be good on your ribs. Now, like I said, add vegetables, add whatever. This is one of those things that once you get here, you can go in any direction. You can add so many other things to it. Try it at home. Try all recipes at home first. Try it out and see how you like it. And adjust it. Maybe you like this, but you want a whole lot of hot sauce in it, or a whole lot of pepper in it, or I like it, hey, can I take andouille sausage, or can I take kielbasa and put into it? Yes. It's something that allows you to build a meal that tastes really good, that doesn't require a lot of work. And taking a skillet and making rice and gravy plus whatever is a basic meal that everybody should understand. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. If you have, there will be more coming up soon. Till next time, guys, I'm Blakey wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.